My next upload for today is with regard to the matters pertaining to violations of safety, security and protection, and the risks that individuals have caused with being in violation of the laws that be. So this is an upload just to highlight the sad sign of the times that it is that a person's personal space isn't respected, and that a person's personal belongings and such aren't ever safe in a situation such as this. So it's come to the point now where the individuals that have been breaching privacy protection and proximity and protocol of my royal patronage have been brazening it with regard to further offences against my clean track record. The issue of these individuals preying on my belongings and my paperwork is still an issue today that hasn't been addressed. So this matter is just ongoing now with regard to the abuses against the Constitution that they've caused, the abuses against the Declaration that they've caused, and the abuses against my bloodline that they've caused. So there's a serious issue of false reporting and false information, and there is an individual collective in particular that have been quite silly with their greed and quite careless in their practices and quite naive and gullible with regard to what they are laying their hands on. So it's quite dangerous for these people to be laying their hands on other people's belongings that they have no right to be touching. My belongings are my personal belongings, and there are people laying their hands on belongings that do not belong to them. Now that is theft. That's a very simple concept. And what's going on also is that in the past 2 to 3 years there have been developments in this country that have been of a consequence of my work. So my work has been in a humanitarian and civil society development progressive mentality concept that is for the progress of the country. Now I have helped the country progress, and I have laid the foundations for this country to progress. So I find it really offensive that there are individuals playing games, very childish, careless, silly games with poor behaviours that they're displaying and poor professionalism. I find it very dangerous that my work is being disrespected for the foundations that I've laid in this country for the positive progress of this country. And that has happened since 2018, 2019. It is now 2021, and I'm still waiting for due process. So that's all very dangerous when there are individuals that are not in a position to make comment or judgment, making judgment calls that they can't be making with the progress that they haven't been doing or succeeding in themselves. So the issue about people laying claim to belongings that they are not safe even coming into the proximity of, and that they are foolishly trespassing and intruding upon due to their blind greed, is very, very careless and very silly. And it's a huge issue with regard to the modern concept of crime prevention and individuals that are responsible for crime prevention and theft of anyone's belongings or personal information. So I'm experiencing identity theft, property theft, financial theft, as I've mentioned throughout all of these uploads. And there's very dangerous abuses going on. So for the interest of those people that are responsible for these abuses against my royal patronage and my profession and purpose and personal life, I'd like to remind you about the foundations I've laid in this country for the progress of this country, and those foundations are non-negotiable. So I'd like to remind the politicians about due process and obligations to be met, and the individuals that are threatening people's safety and security with their silly behaviours and practices and their blind greed. So I'd appreciate it if the relevant authorities would respect the fact that my belongings, like every other individual's, are to be safeguarded. And any theft, further theft from my belongings, could cause even more distress in society than what is already caused when my child was stolen from me. That's my upload for today with regard to the liabilities in society that are disrespecting people's privacy, proximity, etc., and that are avaricious and greedy for property and wealth of Maria McElligot's that they have been stealing from for the past few years.